everybody, welcome to another episode of Everybody Loves Tom, because, let's face it, everybody does love Tom right now. Unfortunately, Leonardo DiCaprio couldn't make it tonight, so last minute we were able to get somebody even better. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Jerry O'Connell.
Yes, thank you so much.
Dude, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Someone did obviously not show up because I was called about 90 minutes ago.
You were, and you showed up.
I know, man.
Still can't believe it.
Can I just ask who I replaced? Is that okay, or no? Do we not want to say that?
Well, Schwartz was gonna come in here possibly, and then it was like I was gonna get somebody from Special Forces. And
all right, sure. The show you're on.
Yeah, that got pushed till Monday.
Right. Okay. So I'm here.
Wait, before you get started, I made a cocktail. This is my first time creating this. This is a non-alcoholic cocktail.
Sure.
It's made with Gia, which is like a non-alcoholic aperitif.
Okay.
And then this is like a plant-based aphrodisiac. It's made with opium.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really nice.
To really get us going.
Yeah.
Opium, not heroin.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, it's just a plant-based, like.
Is it really an aphrodisiac?
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, come on, Jerry, get in the mood.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
And then it's made with lime juice, grapefruit juice, and then I top it with a little bit of Squirt Zero.
Wow, I love me some Squirt Zero. What are we calling it? What is the name of the cocktail?
I'm gonna call it the Prince of Wales, named after one of the top-rated episodes of Sliders.
Well, that was a show I was in. That was it. Okay.
Well, cheers to that,
Cheers,
gentlemen.
to Sliders.
That's got a kick to it, fellas.
Yeah.
I feel the blood flowing already.
All the right places.
I feel it happening. So I have to tell the story of how I'm here.
Yes, please.
Congratulations on your podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very exciting. Your commercial for the podcast came out, and I clicked on the story. It said, look at Tom Sandoval's new commercial for his podcast, and I clicked on it. And it has celebrities on there. Like, I mean, huge celebrities.
Huge.
Like Jennifer Lawrence, Academy Award winner.
Of course.
Adele,
Yeah.
very famous.
16-time Grammy winner.
From the other side. And it had me on there as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And we're saying pretty rude things about you, Tom. Someone called you trash. Someone said something else that was rude. And then it cut to me in your commercial. And I said, you're not a man. And it was crazy seeing that, Tom, because I immediately felt really embarrassed. I felt embarrassed seeing myself say that. That's not how I carry myself. I don't talk like that about other, I don't want to assign gender, but I mean, I don't talk like that about other people publicly, you know? And I felt remorse when I saw that. And when I feel remorse, I like to act on it. I like to.
Well, I mean, I get it. You know, like I think you were on Andy Cohen probably 2 days after this story broke.
And I was the first live show back on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was on
Wow.
there, yeah. So I felt a need to address it. And for those who don't remember, I immediately went to a printing house and I had a T-shirt made up.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
You were the originator of the Team Ariana shirt, probably. Then.
You know, I did see them being sold illegally online.
Did you get a percentage?
No, I had to go to a printing shop and had it made up. It actually cost me, because it was a rush job, over $100 to get that T-shirt made. Yeah,
Dude, I gotta give you some credit for that, though. That's
and you know, I would shout out the printing house, but I washed it once and it all came off. It all came off in the dryer.
But it served its purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was the first live episode after all that broke, and I felt like I should address it. And I said you were not a man. Anyway, I felt a lot of remorse, and so I immediately took to Instagram and I DM'd you myself. I believe we follow each other on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
you were meaning I wasn't a good partner at that time. by saying it wasn't a man, sort of, right? That's what you meant, right?
What did I mean by that? It's really funny. I spoke to friends before I came here. In the 60 minutes I had to prepare before I came here because Leo canceled, or Schwartz canceled.
Leo.
Schwartz's replacement. And I called up a few friends and I said, Tom is asking me to do his podcast. And I got to tell you, Tom, it's a little scary coming to do your show. I know you have a new show. I know it's a big hit. Congratulations, everybody. But I do want to say it is scary coming as a guest here because...
Our last guest said that also, by the way.
Well, I mean, what? Let me ask you, why do you think, fellas, why do you think it's scary for me to come here tonight and do this?
I can answer that, Tom.
Yeah.
I think that people who are associated with Tom are scared to associate with Tom at this moment.
Yeah. I mean, my brother had to my brother told me, he's like, Tom, you need to delete photos of us on Instagram, because
This is your actual blood
my
relative?
actual blood brother said that to me.
Where are your anxieties? We're so curious in coming on.
My anxieties in coming on as a guest is that I am somehow approving, Tom, of some of your behavior in the past. And it's scary. I mean, I got to say, so let me just get back to DMing you. I DM'd Tom, and I don't want any beef with anyone in the world. And when I saw that, I felt anxiousness. I was like, man, this is going to be scary when I run into Tom. And I don't like to feel anxiousness, and I like to do things to combat anxiousness. So I texted Tom and said, congrats on the podcast. Here's my number. If you ever have a guest that falls out, I live a few exits away. Give me a call. I didn't expect you to call 6 hours later. That was
your first mistake, Jerry.
Yeah.
that was a little bit of a shock. But my anxiousness in coming here is that I'm somehow giving you a pass, Tom. I'm so sorry. It has to be said.
Yeah. Do you think that's the case? Because I don't think you feel that way.
Do I feel that way?
Yeah. I don't think you're condoning my behavior by showing up here. You know, I have a lot of friends that, I mean, I'm sure you do too, that have done things that you don't agree with and that have annoyed you, or in the things that they do, you're like, dude, come on, man. But it doesn't mean obviously, you cut them off or whatever, or, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. The only way I can relate, the closest I can relate, is that two good friends of mine got divorced, and a lot of people sided with one side and were saying, don't talk to this person. And I was actually originally friends with
The person that they said don't talk to?
the person they said don't talk to, and I said...
What do you think about that?
I said I'm going to talk to him. He's my friend. I was a friend of his to begin with, and I'm going to talk to him. And that did upset my friends. This is a little more frightening because social media is involved. And
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
by me coming on your podcast, congratulations on it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And by the way, I do appreciate you coming, and I commend your courage for doing that, because, it is a lot. I've had, my friend Billy,
Sure.
she's gotten so much hate.
Sure.
So much hate
Yeah.
for just trying to be there for me, and
Sure.
and it sucks. It really sucks.
I mean, do you mind if I ask you some questions?
Sure.
Do you feel it? I mean, do you get scared when you go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's? Are you like, someone's gonna yell at me? Do you feel it in life?
I'll tell you what, one of the best things that happened, it was scary as hell. I mean, before this story, as this story was breaking, we had just gotten with a booking agency
For the band.
for the band. We had just booked a huge show, one of our biggest, in
Tours.
fact, biggest shows.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah, in Anaheim, yeah.
with Yachtly Crew, which has a
Sure, of
huge.
course.
They've been around for 6 years.
I follow them on social media.
They rock.
I almost wore a Yachtly Crew shirt today, actually. But we were opening for them. We were doing a couple songs with them, And, you know, it's like over 2,000 people in Anaheim. And I mean, the story literally was breaking that day. Had to go, just filmed with Ariana. It was like crazy. And, you know, I was scared. And then shortly, obviously that show, it hadn't quite like caught its like foundation yet, the story. It was just so new. But going out on tour and being forced because we couldn't cancel, would have been blacklisted, the band would have been done. And also like I needed money to pay bills. You know, I was forced to go on stage, not just like play guitar or whatever, but actually be like the lead singer, the main dude. And then, you know, afterward, like talk to people, there were meet and greets, like, but it really forced me to
like face your fears.
Face people, you know, and that really, really helped, you know, because I found that most of the nastiness and most of the anger and things that are being said are on social media.
By the way, I did ask Andy Cohen if I could come and do this before I came.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Uh-oh. What did Andy say?
By the way, that's what you're supposed to do when you go on podcasts, everybody. You know, you're supposed to text Andy Cohen and say, am I allowed to do it? And he said, yeah, I got the green light to come, you know. I didn't want to get in trouble with the boss, you know. What are you going to do about that?
I mean, really...
You can't live your life like that, Tom. What are you going to do?
I mean, I like, for these past 6 months, you know, obviously I have people like Jason, everybody, like, you know, Schwartz, I have Billy, I have people in my life, Kyle Chan, that are really good friends and supportive and you know, but I just gotta try to move on and make the best out of the situation, you know? Continue to try to do positive things, be a positive person, be a positive influence on a situation, you know? Bring fun and happiness to people as much as I can, you know? That's what I love doing. That's what I feel like I'm on this earth to do, is to bring positive and happiness to people, to make people better off than they were when they met me. And I love doing that, and I feel like a lot of my friends have experienced that, you know, over the years, and that's one of the reasons why everybody didn't leave me. But I realized why a lot of people did.
Yeah, and these people on social media, God bless them, but they really don't know Tom as a person. They've never spent real time with him. They've seen him for 3-4 minutes at a time on a show that's heavily edited. It's
5 minutes of 5 hours is what I like to call it.
Yeah, and it's like a fun show. There's silliness, there's drama. But have they spent, you know, 6 hours with him, you know, backstage on tour, or like at a pool party with him at a house that's not being filmed, or really in a deep conversation, in an emotional conversation, talking about each other's lives, at like my kid's birthday party, you know, going to him needing serious advice where he's given it to me, those where you really develop serious friendships, like really serious, deep friendships? Obviously not. And I'd ask these people too, if I could, if your best friend in the world did what Tom did, would you really not only stop talking to them, but fully shun them, turn on them, and just give that vitriol that a lot of these people do? I don't think any of them would do that.
One thing I saw in that video, because until he actually put that video together, I had stayed away from social media, you know.
You talking about your commercial?
Yeah. Until I'd heard about it. I hadn't actually watched it.
Yeah.
But I could see I've seen and witnessed, you know, like when you have like, you're just like having the most delicious steak. I don't know, you're a meat eater?
Yeah, I am. I love meat, sure.
Yeah, just like that, like medium rare, delicious steak,
Sure.
and like a lovely like sauce or whatever,
Sure.
and you're just like mouth watering.
Yeah.
Like I feel that like savoring of anger that comes out of people, like the savoring of it. I see it like almost like a drug in a way. It's like I don't know, it's like a thirst being quenched.
Like when Jennifer Lawrence in that video is like looking at that printout of Tom and being like, you have bad skin. There's like such a vitriol.
Right.
It's like looking at Tom and being like
how can you be that mad at me?
Bad skin.
Well, let me just say, we can be that mad because we've been there for a decade. Like, we watched it. We feel a personal connection. Let me just say, your skin is terrific.
Thanks.
I wish I had.
Thanks,
that skin.
Jerry. Your skin's great.
Thank you.
It's great, man.
Just got a facial. I used a mask before I came here. I had
Smart.
But hearing you, Tom, I'm hearing a lot of people's reaction and how much hatred they had. This might be a problem that people are having. I'm not hearing remorse. You know what I'm saying, Tom? We're hearing about you seeing and ingesting people's reactions to it. We're not hearing accountability.
Well, I mean, obviously, I fucked up. I screwed up. I handled the situation. I got way over my head. I know that, and I apologize for that.
The question too is like, even like on the last episode, like we ended the last episode with what I thought was a really deep, sincere apology. But you've apologized, I don't know, 30 different times sincerely. I always ask myself, because a lot of people ask the question you did, like, where's the remorse? When are you going to really give an apology? How many like sorries is enough? How many? What?
I cry. It's crocodile tears. I'm not showing any emotion. If I'm on my knees, I'm overdoing it. If I'm standing up, I should be on my knees. I've said it so many times. I've been accused of faking it, everything. It's like people aren't ready to hear it. They might not ever be ready to hear it.
How many sorries is enough, I would say, not to you, but almost to like the people who are asking for more and more?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I will say...
it's interesting to just
based
about.
on me, but I do want to say, based on me calling a few of my friends
totally
a half hour ago and saying, Schwartz canceled, Tom is asking me to do his podcast, it sounds like
people are still looking for it.
People are still looking for a sorry, Tom. I mean, pun intended, I'm sorry to tell you that, but it's what it sounds like.
And you think that if Tom gave that appropriate sorry, these people you're talking about, what would that mean to them? Would they be a Tom fan again? Would they get over it? Would they be comfortable, let's say, coming on Tom's podcast? What would that do for them?
I don't know. I don't
See,
know.
that's
the
the question. Because then it's like, let's say Tom gives that apology. Would it be okay? What is that sorry going to do? Because then is it for Tom or is it for them?
Yeah.
Who is it going to benefit?
And honestly, like, what did I do to them exactly? Besides, like, let them down a little bit. Like, I don't understand, like, when people do things in their lives, like, when you do things in your life, like, it's your life. If you do something to hurt your friend, or you betray your friend, your wife, whatever,
Let's just say, I have not betrayed my wife.
No, never, no.
This is hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
Situation.
Jerry's an awesome guy.
Okay,
we love Jerry.
Forget about Sandoval. Jerry's the monster.
If King Arthur
get on your
betrays
knees,
his
Jerry.
knights,
Get on your knees, crocodile tears.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never, I have never, like, if, I'm just bringing this up. I'm not posting blame. I'm not saying anything. I'm just using that as a straight up example. James Kennedy cheated on Raquel like 3 times that we know about, right? I, for not a second, expected him to apologize. If James would apologize to me, I'd be like, what are you apologizing to me for? You didn't do anything to me. You hurt Raquel. Just like handle your business. I don't know. Go. Like,
I understand what you're saying. I believe, first of all, people who aren't here, we shouldn't talk about them.
Yes.
I made that mistake with you, and hence why I'm here. That said, I would say that people were way more invested in your relationship than in other relationships. It was close to a decade that we were in this, and I would say the circumstances of the stepping out were
like
a little more
like fucking crazy,
a little more insane.
Yeah.
So I do think there is a difference, and so therefore I do think I'm sorry to call it a punishment, should be greater, Tom.
Do you not think it was?
I think it is. I think you're currently going through it. I think you're currently going through it. Listen, I'm just bringing this up because you have a new podcast.
We appreciate it.
You need to.
You know what? It's another.
I can't just
it's
come
a
here and talk
perspective.
about projects that I got and where to follow me on Yelp. But I mean, it's there's currently at this juncture of your new endeavor, it needs to be addressed.
We totally agree, and we appreciate your perspective.
You mind if I ask you a couple more questions?
Sure
Please.
thing, man. Let me just say one thing else.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, listen, I just want to say also, I want to apologize to you for saying that on Watch What Happens Live.
Oh, Jerry.
That was not.
It's all right, man.
That was not a cool thing for me to say.
Well,
and
that means a lot, man.
I want to apologize for saying that you weren't a man. I was heated in the moment.
Well, I appreciate that.
And I apologize.
I appreciate that, man. You're a great guy.
What were you going to say? Sorry, before I interrupted.
I was going to say, if it helps, I obviously fully regret what I did. I fully fucking regret it. I feel bad about it. I hate that I hurt people. I, for the most part, have been pretty fucking miserable. And I don't ever want to go through what I went through again. And I don't ever want to be responsible or the cause for ever hurting people like that and causing that kind of shit ever again. I'm going to do everything in my power to never do that again and to never get lost and caught up in a situation like that.
What would you have done differently?
I wouldn't have hooked up to begin with Rachel. I, would have gotten out of my relationship, ripped the Band-Aid off, not delayed. That's that whole scenario. I think I got caught up in trying to create the perfect breakup, but it was way beyond that because I saw what Tom and Katie went through and I wanted to do it better, do it smoother. We were a different relationship than Tom and Katie, Ariana and I. It always is different. But I don't know, man. It's so, I could have done 100,000 things differently, But there's this weird thing. Obviously, I regret what I did. There is like a few positive things that I do hang on to, because it helps. And that is, I was on a path that was not great. I was drinking all day, every day, chain smoking cigarettes, going out constantly, chasing the dragon, running away from everything, hiding. And, when this happened, I was forced to take a really hard look at my life, really analyze and say dude, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? This is not a path that leads to a long, healthy life. This is a short, Betelgeuse star that burns bright and, supernovas pretty quickly in the grand scheme of things. So, it did help me or cause me to change, my habits. And really also to put in perspective certain things that are important, also see what relationships were more meaningful, I feel like, than others. Truer connections. Friendships, connections, yeah.
Would you say you're more honest today?
Yes.
A more honest person.
But I'm also more guarded. So
guarded about your personal life with other people?
Yeah.
In relationships?
Yeah, just in general. I am a lot more on guard around people too, because I'm constantly filmed all the time, everywhere I go.
A lot of paparazzi and stuff following you all the time now?
Crazy.
Still camped outside my house. It's been a little bit lighter lately. But as of just a week ago, they were there every day.
Does it make you paranoid?
Yeah. you just don't fight it. You just let them do their thing. It's their job. You know, you just let them. There's no running from them. You're not like, there's no chance, there's no reason to get mad at them. They're just doing their job. They're just there. You just accept it.
Take me through your day-to-day life. I mean, I know your living situation is...
You know about my roommate?
I know about your roommate.
Okay.
I'm not in touch with your roommate or anybody. If you don't want to talk about it, I understand. But that's got to be... Hey, listen, I also know someone who is going through a divorce right now, who has to live with the person they are going to be... They're in the midst of divorcing.
Yeah.
And they have to cohabitate.
Because of interest rates right now.
Well, it's...
That's part of it.
Damn market.
It's actually... Explain your living situation. Like
we're on opposite sides of the house, and we're obviously trying to figure out exactly our next move. Because we thought we had it figured out, and then we kind of like, you know. But it's really not that big of a deal in that sense. Like, there's plenty of room in this house to be on separate sides. We both, I mean, yes, while filming Vanderpump Rules, we were obviously not traveling a lot, but before leading up to that, we were both traveling a lot, and now afterwards, we're both traveling a lot.
I mean, it's I've had roommates. I've had roommates in my time. I lived with my brother. I lived with a guy who who's worked in the entertainment industry. I work with two guys. I lived with two guys from college. I mean,
did you live with like a guy that was like Brad Pitt's character in True Romance, smoking weed out of a honey bear, like on the couch the whole time?
No,
I've had one of those.
I did have a pot smoking roommate, but I really liked him. God, I sound so old right there. I had a roommate who smoked marijuana all the time out of a water bong.
I've got. You were asking earlier, like what has changed? What do I do? I'm pretty physically active. Work out every day.
Where?
At the house.
Oh, at the house.
Yeah, I built a gym in that house.
Okay.
And which is great.
You listen to music when you do that?
Yeah, and I watch movies. Currently watching Peaky Blinders.
Watching what? Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders.
Well, to put subtitles
so
up there.
So you watch Peaky Blinders and you just like rip some arms and do some back?
I do a lot of running and biking and stuff, and then I do guided meditation. I love Headspace. It's a great app.
Okay.
I journal. I do breathing exercises. Shout out to Dr. Vu. He's done some great work with me. That has really helped with not drinking and not like smoking cigarettes. I mean, dude, I was like chain smoking.
Sure.
Fucking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Did you ever smoke cigarettes?
I've been smober for over 10 years now.
Oh, good for you.
Nice.
That's
Major.
awesome.
Hardest thing.
Dude, so hard.
So crazy.
Yeah.
But good. I'm glad that you're healthy. I mean, listen, Tom, what I'm hearing is that you are starting to become honest with the most important person, which is yourself, Tom. You know, I mean, that's while we should be held accountable for our actions with other people, at the end of the day, it's just us.
Yeah.
And our heads hitting the pillow. And, you know, I mean, I want to make sure after all this, you're honest with yourself, Tom, you know?
Yeah.
Totally. And I think there's been a lot of growth. I've definitely seen it. And if for a second, if anybody thinks that during this whole thing, Tom has leaned into the villain role and has loved it, it could not be any farther from the truth.
No.
When we were during this whole thing, I think a complete depression from this whole thing is just, that's not even enough to describe it. I mean, we were on tour one time because I'm the drummer and the manager, so I'm doing a lot of managing while we're on the road. And there was one day when we were in Chicago, and Tom, the band usually goes to the venue first, and you know we're loading in and we're doing stuff. Tom usually will come after because he's working out, and Tom was not at the venue yet, and he was supposed to be there. And this was like in May, and so very heavily into Sandoval, tough times. I'm calling Tom, he's not answering. I called the hotel to call Tom. He said he's not answering, and I'm like, oh boy, what's going on? What's going on?
How scared were you?
Like completely scared. Like 10.
1 to 10.
10, because there were parts of when we
What were you mostly afraid of?
that Tom was dead. Because there were parts of the tour where Tom was like, there were great parts of the tour, not great parts of the tour, but also even the great parts of the tour, Tom, was depressed. And not that he was upset because people were upset with him, because I think Tom was upset because he was upset with himself. And people don't understand that. And you could fuck up and be depressed because of that. And that's what was going on. And I remember going to the hotel, getting a room key, walking to Tom's room, and standing there with the room key in my hand and not wanting to put it in there, being like, Tom, I'm going to go in there and Tom's going to be dead. And putting it in there and,
Shit, I remember you telling me
and
this, yeah.
going in, and Tom was in bed. And I really was like, oh my God, like, Tom is dead. He was just sleeping. But I really was like, I
do sleep hard.
He sleeps pretty hard. But I really was so certain that Tom was dead. And it was because of how hard those times were. And again, this is not me or Tom being like, feel bad for me, I'm the victim here. That's not it at all. And people, for some reason on social media and people in this situation, they cannot like separate the two. And if anybody who's known someone who's depressed for any reason, they know what that is. Like if you've known anybody who's been seriously depressed where they have had suicidal thoughts, it's scary as fuck. And Tom was one of my best friends in the world. He's family and he's like a brother. And to be there and, so for those people who are not sure if Tom was, felt bad what he did or if he was upset, like he was, and to like,
Yeah.
So it's.
Can I just ask, you were obviously on tour all summer.
Yeah. For that month,
Did all of this drama affect the tour?
Absolutely, yeah.
How so?
So it affected it where a lot of venues were still, some venues are a little nervous to book us because they're a little nervous because they don't know if people are going to come because they're going to come to, like, not riot, but they're going to come to disrupt and fight, where we've had fights at our shows.
Yeah.
Are they going to...
I didn't realize it, but...
I didn't know about these fights at the shows.
Yeah, we have fights.
What happens?
There's fights between like the quote-unquote pro-Tom people and the quote-unquote like anti-Tom people, where they'll literally like, they'll start arguments and fights in the crowd. We've had this at almost every single show. It's not like crazy fights where there's like, police need to be called, but enough to where, we'll be playing and all of a sudden we'll see security come and grab people out of the audience. There's that. There's venues who will hear like, the booker or like the owner's like, oh, we can't wait to book you. And then it's like, the owner's wife's friend is very anti-Tom. And then they're like, oh no, we're not interested anymore. But that just doesn't affect Tom. That affects the 8-person band that Tom is really like giving, their livelihood, and also the crew that he supports. And because Tom pays everybody, which he should. These people deserve to get paid. They're professional musicians who are mostly just getting started. But it also, it has, we still are able to go on tour. I mean, there's still people who support the band and who love the band and who love Tom. It's not all bad.
There's some people that will go and have a great time because we're a cover band.
It's so fun. The band is so
like,
fun.
We play just like 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, like hits from all over. Like, and everything from Billy Ocean to Cake by the Ocean to like Death Cab for Cutie to Fall Out Boy
Muse.
to like, everything. And
the Jackson 5.
Yeah, and everybody's like singing along, having a blast. And then some people you see them, they're like singing along, rocking out the whole time, and then they literally like leave and they'll just like do a quick little video where they're like flipping off flipping it, like basically saying we did not have fun here.
Or it's so funny. Sorry, Tom. Some people will come, and Tom was talking about this a little bit, where it's like, and you've asked Jerry, like, do you ever like in the street or at like Whole Foods, and people come and show you that hate? There have been times before where there will be like a row of 8 people who are straight up in the front, holding, at the gate there, at the front of, the crowd, who are like
the mosh pit.
Yeah, the mosh pit. The most anti-Tom people in the world, who got there first to show their hate, literally middle fingers up and Tom, this close to Tom, the whole time with signs on their phones. Fuck you, Tom. Go kill yourself. Fuck you.
It's been a while.
Team Ariana, like, fuck you the whole time, screaming in his face. And Tom is just doing his thing, rocking and rolling. And, you know, it's funny to them. They think it's funny and it's funny games, but like, at what point is like, it just like, this is just a fucking person trying to just not be like a narcissist, like living his rock star dream, but just out there like trying to do a job, enjoy himself. We're working, you know, there's, you know, a crowd of like 1,000 people enjoying also. You know, you just have to say
got like babysitters for their like, you know.
Yeah, like people come, they spend money on these tickets, and you know that's why I always say like, like.
There's some people
how
too,
much does he have to
want to be? They want to be like a part of it too. You know, they want to just be a part of it.
Like how much punishment is enough punishment? You know. And it's also like the band gets the hate too. Like Maddie, one of our other singers,
she gets a lot.
So much hate because she's a female
like the sweetest person.
Who was so. This is another thing you asked, like, are people scared to come on the podcast? Are people scared to be in the band? Some of them are. And Maddie, who's such an amazing person, an amazing singer. She was like on The Voice. She's phenomenal. She's up there with Tom also. She gets so much hate because she's a female who is supporting Tom. I mean, obviously not what he did. She doesn't support, none of us support what Tom did, but we're there in the band, we're a team. She's up there and she gets vicious hate. I mean, people are so vicious to her a lot of the time. And it's like, does she deserve that? Does like our sax player deserve that? Does our bass player deserve that? Like, no, but they don't care. So, but that's fucked up of them. That's wrong of them. But are they being held accountable? Of course they're not. So I would ask like all of these questions, really. That's
Jason.
I'm
Jason
sorry.
gets pissed about it. I don't care.
Tom is cool as a cucucber.
I don't really care as much about it.
You know, I want to run up for my drums and be like, you know, what the hell? You know, but I just get, I don't know, I get heated.
Tom,
Jared.
how does it make you feel hearing that your bandmates feel the vitriol,
Oh, I mean, it sucks. I hate hearing about that. You know, that's like the worst to me. You know, I don't want those people like having to suffer because of me. You know.
Well, tell me about those emotions. Do you feel responsible? Do you?
Yeah, of course I do. I do. Yeah. I don't know what to do. I mean, it has tapered off. You know,
yeah,
it's gotten definitely better. I think a lot of times, there's a ton of people that have come out to see us that are like on the fence or they're haters. They want to come out, they want to express their hate towards me. And then within like a third of the way through, they're like, this is exhausting. Like, let's go grab another shot and let's have fun.
Totally.
That happens like 95% of the time.
100%.
People come out there, they're like, we're gonna fuck shit up, like, and then they're like, this is awesome, and then they just have a great time, and then they end up staying and like I get take pictures with them, and then they tell me that they're like, we came out here to fucking hate on you. We came out here to cause a little ruckus.
No matter what,
and
like,
we had so much fun, and I'm like always so sweet. I make sure and take, to them, I take pictures of everybody. They're wearing scumbag and cheaters shirts. They're wearing like worm with a mustache.
Shirts.
I'm like, hey man, I don't like when people judge what I wear. I'm not gonna judge what you wear.
Is that why you shaved the mustache, because of the worm with the mustache, or was it just time for the mustache to go?
It was time. You know me, I've had a lot of different looks. I have had a lot of different looks.
Jason, do you want to say something?
I just had a question for you because you've been in the public eye for a really long time.
Sure.
Have you ever made a mistake that really affected somebody in your personal life? And if so, did you feel the need to apologize to the public? Like, I think that's the disconnect.
I'm going to take accountability for my actions here. I have not been faithful in relationships before I was married. I didn't take accountability at the time. I mean, this is going to sound like an excuse. I was I was a much younger man than you are, Tom. You know, I was in my 20s, you know.
I'm 26, man.
I'm only 19.
So that's not an excuse. And so, you know, Tom, you know, I have not been faithful in previous relationship, not my marriage, please. That's not the headline here. I love my wife. We're completely
I can't
faithful.
wait.
Love her. Just gotta drive home. By the way, my wife was one of the people who were like, "Why are you doing that podcast?"
Oh no, we gotta get her
I'm
on
sorry,
next
guys.
Oh no.
But
I think it's
sorry,
a
honey.
fucking power move, man. I honestly respect you so much more for literally hitting me up right away and then showing up here like the day of, man. That takes some guts, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I gotta give you a fucking hand, man.
There's
Dude,
no
you're
applauding. That said, you know, that relationship that I was unfaithful in, it was for 1/10 the relationship you were in. I'm sorry, I'm not comparing. And it wasn't on, we weren't, here's why I think there is so much anger. We were all along for the ride. We feel like we were there from the beginning.
Yeah.
From the beginning. So I think that's where it's coming from. And, you know, it's funny, recently, I can't believe I'm talking about people who aren't here, but recently Drew Barrymore went through a very sort of negative couple weeks because there was a writer's strike, and Drew said that Drew was going to come back and do her show without her writers, and Drew received a lot of backlash from everyone. And it was funny. I was watching it, and I noticed that a lot of other celebrities had a lot of anger toward her that they posted publicly. And I was a little shocked at it. I was shocked that they're saying, by the way, these are things that they could have, I mean, you know, I like to slide into some celebrities' DMs. This is something that
Sliders.
they could have said privately, but they said it publicly, and it didn't sit well with me. And I just want to say, it's why when I saw the commercial for your podcast, and there was a close-up of me saying you're not a man, it didn't sit well with me that I said that. And you know, I don't know what to say. There's no concrete answer for when the world will forgive you, Tom. You know, I don't know if, you know, everything was messy about your situation. So I think coming out of it is going to be just as messy, maybe even messier, you know? How do you hope people regard you in the future? Where do you see yourself?
I would love for people to maybe go back to thinking of me a little bit more glass half full and less calculated. I'm not a very, wishing Rachel a happy birthday was not calculated. Fucking miss her. You know, I'm not a schemer like that. I don't do that. You know, I do when it comes to surprise parties and things like that. But you know, I don't, that's not the way I spend my time. And that's not the way I choose to spend my time. I like to live in the moment with people and experience awesome times and bond and fucking hug and love and
Especially sorry to interrupt, Tom, but how do you remember Tom pre-Sandoval?
You know, Tom, I always regarded you as someone who held yourself accountable and held others accountable. And you were almost you were maybe the most righteous person on that show. And I think maybe that's why people are so angry.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah, that's very cool.
No, I appreciate that. And I
how do people get?
tried to.
How do we get back to the old? How do we get back to the old Tom? How does that happen?
I think, all I can do is be better. Try to continue to be better. I'm not perfect, obviously. You're perfect. You're amazing.
No,
I'm not.
You don't live with me. You don't live with me.
No, but we want to live with you, Jerry. Where do you live?
I'm really imperfect.
But I think that it's just gonna take time, and I understand that. People can't just it's not like when you're getting hypnotized and they're just like 1, 2, 3, snap out of it. You're away.
Yeah.
You're no longer a circus juggler or whatever. It's just gonna take time, and I believe there's so much power and strength in the truth, and if I continue to live my truth and be real, that people will see that. They will, and that's all I can hope for. That's all I can hope for. But I'm gonna continue to try to, love and be happy and create happiness. Because that's what I live for. That's, to me, being a better, leaving things better than they were, or being a positive effect on a situation or people, that's what I fucking live for. That, to me, is powerful. That makes me feel powerful.
What do you want this podcast to project? I mean, this is your second episode, am I correct?
Yeah.
I think sometimes, Jerry, a plan is just a list of things that aren't going to happen. So really, I just want to have people like you on and just talk about what you want to talk about. I mean, I didn't really think we were going to talk about, I figured we'd talk about some stuff, but I figured we'd carry on from Scandal and whatever, but I just want to be in the moment and connect and hang out and do that.
And have the challenge. We
Have the
love
challenge.
that. Have the questions. The hard-hitting questions. Seriously, we appreciate it.
By the way, is the GHB hitting you yet?
Yeah.
You don't seem like that affected.
No,
I didn't put
we'll
too much.
See
I didn't want you
later
to G
when
out.
when I go home. Let's see if the aphrodisiac kicks in. Let's see if it's not my birthday, but maybe there'll be some sexy time happening.
I do. I have a gift for you.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah.
Gift for me? You didn't have to do that.
Do you want to bring it in?
I was. It was my gift to be here.
I have a gift for you because you said your Team Ariana shirt got ruined in the wash, and so I figured since you're probably gonna get some hate for coming here, I think this will really help.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, you did take your shirt off on your commercials, so I may as well. You can edit this part out.
Ooh, goddamn.
That part out. Oh, this is really funny. Okay, here we go.
Now, Jerry, you did promise to wear that next time you're on Watch What Happens Live. You did.
No way! I don't want to die.
Haven't signed
You did
that?
sign a contract, Jerry.
No, they'll kill me. You kidding
Jerry,
me?
you signed the contract, Jerry.
Jerry,
We have very serious lawyers, Jerry.
Yeah.
Take it back, Tom. Tom, you are a man. You're a man, Tom.
You're a man, dude. And you know what? I really appreciate you coming, dude. I'm just saying, it's beyond, it just shows beyond who you are as a person, man. I really appreciate it, and I think the highest of you, man.
Yeah, you're our second favorite guest, Jerry.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Tom.
Wait, I got a guitar here. Do you still remember how to play Kushlash?
No, I don't. They taught me 2 chords. I don't even know what I was
And Jerry,
doing.
next time you're on, all we're going to talk about is Kangaroo Jack.
Yes, there we go. We're
That's
going to
okay.
talk about Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah, I really, really
There
wanted
you go,
to.
guys. That was it. How was that?
Dude, it was awesome, dude.